And we are back. Appreciate y'all tapping in with us on this lovely Thursday edition of the Doin Alright podcast. You know, Brian, what I want to start doing is I want to start being like, this is episode.
Oh, no. Well, you could take a page out of Derek Eagleton's book?
Nah, well, see, he does season 55, episode 87 in September. I don't want to do that. I just kind of want to keep up with how many.
He does it in a way because of when the league year starts.
Yeah.
So, like.
That's weird.
He resets it after March 12th is what he does.
Hey, come on, Derek.
Yeah.
But yeah, we
can count them back if you want.
Starting next week, we'll probably
we'll count it. There you go.
We'll think about that. But I'm on the Iron Throne. Brian's in the mothership, man. We just up here kicking it, about to break down this Raiders defense there.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of an update, though, an injury update from our man, Mr. Bryan Broaddus there. You got something for us, sir?
Yeah, I was talking with some folks this morning coming in, and I was asking about I was curious to how much maybe that Ravel would play in this football game. And the words that I got were, hey, listen, we're going to see what he does these next 3 practices and then go from there, but likely maybe special teams only. So, well, let's see. Like I say, 3 practices. We got the Monday night game. And I'm trying to kind of get an idea, too, about Overshown. But the report I've got with Ravel, let's see what happens these next 3 practices. And if everything's good, then they'll get a better plan from that. They'll have a better idea. But right now, it looks like Voch. It looks like that it's just going to be some special teams work as we speak today.
You need that dude on defense, Brian. Can we afford to slow play him on defense as bad?
Man, I'm to the point now where I can't slow play anything.
Yeah.
And I've run out of games where I could just say, oh, well, hey, let's find a way to, make this, let's just get through this game and then we'll worry about the next one. I do believe, and I said it on a couple of different platforms, so I do believe that this is a good opportunity offensively, the way we broke down the Raiders. This is a good opportunity to get guys incorporated and see kind of where you're at. You go out there and fumble around and play with your food like we always talk about, you're in some trouble because the next 3 are not going to allow you that. This is an opportunity to go out there, play against an offense that has struggled to score points, has struggled to have huge plays. They do have a quality running back. Our offensive line, as Voch told you yesterday, is not very good, and I totally agree with him on that. But this is a good opportunity to kind of all those pieces come together and see what you got as you get ready for the next 3.
Do you think more time on task together will improve the offensive line? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's been different matchups in there. BB still kind of got to get over himself, and Tyler Smith was clearly playing hurt. I think Book even came back a little early. You kind of saw You kind of saw the play kind of decline a little bit. The bye week probably helps a bunch, Brian. You think that'll help more?
I want to believe that there's some simple fixes, and I really don't think they're simple fixes, because the simple fix to me initially would have been, okay, let's play Nate Thomas at right tackle. Let's see how things go. I like Nate Thomas. I think we all like Nate Thomas. I just think that right now that they're going to go with Steele and continue to go with Steele, even though the coach talks about there's competition out there. I think that's, the one thing that we focus on. But yeah, they've had some struggles here with BB missing games, with Booker missing games. There was a game there where Tyler Smith wasn't particularly good in the game, the Carolina game. I know it's a while back, but they've had moments where their offensive line just has not been good. You asked me the question about time on task, continuity, and all that stuff like that. I kind of feel like that maybe it's more about the health, the overall health, and maybe the week off was more beneficial than anything than time on task. We'll see. But they still have the questions, though, at the right tackle spot.
Shouts out to my man's Will Steele there. He was talking about it on his show, and me and him lockstep in this is that, I think Cowboy fans are a little too quick on the draw for the new guys sometimes, And I know if Terrence gets whooped, that make you want to go to Nate Thomas.
Oh, no. Absolutely, yeah.
But what's hilarious about the game or whatever is that Nate got whooped the same amount of Terrence in like 10 snaps or something.
Oh, no. It's
20 snaps versus Nate 10.
I tell you what, I think you're absolutely right about it. I think you and Will both are right about that. The things that you look at, as we as fans, as analysts. I mean, when you look at things, and I used to do some pro personnel, I would ask the questions like, are we really playing the best guy? And then all of a sudden you're playing the guy who you think the best guy is, and he's out there having problems. But, I mean, you wonder if you play him 65 snaps, is he going to have 10 pressures? You know, that's the questions now you have to ask yourself. But it was clearly a struggle. Arizona knew you were throwing the football, and then it turned into, okay, well, here we are. We have to go and protect the passer. Quick pressures were a problem in that Arizona game. Dak Prescott, hell, to be honest with you, Voch, this line across the board, the way that Dak Prescott has avoided pressures, cleaning up a lot of things that maybe this offensive line had issues with.
Bryan, we're going to talk about this Raiders defense.
Yeah.
If that Illuminati person texts your phone and just posts me.
I'm looking down at it every once in a while.
Hold your hand up and
say, I got
wait
you.
A minute.
Yeah, I got you.
Wait a minute.
I got you covered.
We'll talk about it. Man, the Raiders defense ain't great, Bryan Broaddus. You know, I'm thinking Raiders kind of got an issue coaching wise, top to bottom. You know what I mean? Because it kind of feels like everything is not working hand in hand. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Now, Bryan, I can make the same case for the Cowboys defense.
Sure you can.
But I'm breaking down the Raiders today, so I need everybody to chill. Bryan, it just seemed like, they don't have two things at the same time. You know what I mean? And some of these games, you'll just kind of go down and look at them like, okay, they did decent versus the pass that day, but they gave up plays versus the run this day. And other days, you're like, okay, they cool versus the run this day, but boy, you can throw against all these DBs and just make stuff happen there, Bryan. I'm looking over the DBs and which ones give up all the big plays here, Bryan. The correct answer is all of them.
Sure.
Chin has given up a few. Lonnie can give up a few. Stokes is fine, but but down the red zone, I think you can kind of get him a little bit.
Sure.
Bryan, let me tell you something. This Isaiah Pola-Mao.
Yeah.
That's number my boy 20. That's number 20. And my man Bobby Blue Bland.
Yeah.
Kyle Blue Kelly.
Kaibu Kelly, yeah.
Number 36.
Yep.
Those guys are responsible for a ton of the big plays.
Yep.
That happens with Vegas there, Bryan. So if it's Voch, if my name is Voch Schottenheimer, I'm trying to find those guys. A couple of years ago, the Ferguson versus Jamal Adams matchup was incredible when he was with Seattle and whoever, Seattle, and Jake was beating the hell out of him. I wouldn't mind that matchup at linebacker as well, Bryan. Jamal Adams ain't good. Jamal Adams is a name, and shame on Seattle thinking. Vegas to think that they're gonna revive his career here. Adams ain't been good. If it's three dudes on this defense that I think can play, I think Maxx Crosby is really good.
Yep.
He tears it up.
Yep.
Disruptive, pass, run, all this kind of stuff. Devin White, good versus the run, kind of stops all that. I think he leads the team in tackles and stuffs, and maybe after Max. But and one like surprise dude, wouldn't call him elite, but just a surprise guy that I want to separate from everybody else is Jonah Laula. He's an interior tackle for him, Bryan.
Right.
All the rest of them are food.
Yeah, I think to me, you're looking at this, and by the way, I did get a report back.
What him say?
What him say. This is, when we started talking about it, and Voch and I, as we started the show, we were talking about the updates for what you might see from Rebel. So got some information back about Overshown. And he's going to obviously get the defensive snaps. They're going to see again how the week is going to go. Really, for both of them on the count for the game is what they're looking at right now. They're playing 4 games in 17 days. So that's something that they're really thinking about. That they're looking at long term. Like, okay, how can they? Well, excuse me, not 4 games in 17. They're playing 4 games in 17 that they're really thinking about right now is how I'll get that straight in my mind. But the thing about it is, though, it's very similar. He's not going to play the special team snaps, but both of these guys, they have to see how they're going to do, and then they're going to have to see. So for us to maybe feel like that Overshown is going to be the starter, we might need to see what these next 3 days bring, and maybe when we circle back. And I know we're not going to have a show on Monday, but we'll have an idea. Just follow our social sites and stuff like that. We'll probably be able to say, hey, this is what we know about going into this football game. So yeah, it's going to be monitor both, see how they get through the next 3 days. Looks like Ravel would play special teams maybe. I don't think Overshone is going to be the special teams guy. Probably will get more defensive snaps, but hopefully I explained that in the right way.
Is it looking like a rotation for Overshone possibly?
I would think that would be the case.
Okay.
I would think that would be the case. I don't feel like that they're going to, just looking at it, I just felt like initially that maybe that he was going to go ahead and be the starter. I think they're going to get through these next 3 practices and then determine. I don't think he's going to be the starter, but I think he's going to be inserted there pretty quick in the game once they need him that way.
Okay, everybody quote that. But,
yeah. Sorry about that. I was like confusing as hell the way I was reading it, but they're looking at it right now as they've got these games. They've got,
So I got you. Watch this.
Yeah.
Got one play. So what Bryan is saying is that it's a lot of games coming up real close.
Yeah.
And these big games.
Yeah.
All tied in.
Yeah.
Detroit, Kansas City,
right.
Eagles, and then we got Raiders right now. So they don't want to just get toe up right now knowing
Bingo.
that these hurt guys are coming back to the stretch. Let's just say 3 games. Like there's a game now, but that Thanksgiving stretch where it gets real tight and not a bunch of practice and rest. You don't want those.
I should have just given you the damn text.
No, it's all good. They would have rather have them then than now. So as of now, they're gonna go through practice and they're gonna, hey, y'all good, y'all straight. And what it's looking like for Vegas as of now, until something changes or anything happens like that, Revel's gonna be mostly teams guy and rotating corners sometimes. Overshone's gonna be playing mostly linebacker, not teams, and I love that idea, but mostly linebacker, and it's still probably gonna be a bunch of Murray and all those kind of guys.
There you go.
Involved, so.
Appreciate you doing that, brother.
Now let me react to that. I wish I had my war call on my Don DeMarco, but I hate it. I hate that. Look, look, we've been waiting this whole time, man. Play him. Let him play. Run him out there. I know you don't want him to get tired in this little stretch, but it ain't like he played 9 games this season already.
Yeah,
he should be well rested, man. He good to go. You know what I mean? I know soreness matters and all this kind of stuff, man. But let my guy Overshone run free. Let me ask you this: Voch says this, Bryan. It's Raiders.
Yeah.
All right, cool, fine. Coming off the bye week, if it was Eagles, you think Overshone has to be playing a little bit more?
I think they're trying to get him ready to play more against the Eagles.
Play more against the Eagles. That's what I figured.
Yeah, I think they're using this game as that kind of get a gauge.
A little warm up.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
No, you got to win this game. No, you've got to win this game. You've got to win this game.
But it's a bit of a warm up compared to the next.
You can at least experiment a little more against this offense than you can against, say, the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Lions.
I hate even saying that because teams been whooping your ass.
Oh no, it's this is going to be a tough game. I don't anticipate this game being easy. There's going to be some kind of things happen in this game where it's. Damn, didn't expect that. Maxx Crosby up against, Maxx Crosby up against Steele. Maxx Crosby up against Thomas. Maxx Crosby goes on the other side and gets a rush or two. But you're to this point in time. I will say this though, tip of the cap to the players, tip of the cap to the training staff over there with the Cowboys. We thought this day would never come, where all of a sudden it would be. That they're actually getting back bodies. I was really worried that you weren't going to see Overshone. You weren't going to see Revel, but here we are, and hopefully they'll get through these practices and then we'll see how the game plays.
Go ahead.
Getting back about the Raiders. Yeah. You're right about Maxx Crosby. That's going to be the problem in this game. Do you have anybody as on the other side of the ball? You were talking about what's going on with Brock Bowers and stuff like that at tight end. You have somebody that can defend Brock Bowers. That's going to be a struggle for you on that side. On the Raiders defensive side of the ball, this is now where it's going to hinge for you. Can you find ways to not let Maxx Crosby wreck this football game? And you've had some games where we were worried about the Denver Broncos. Hell, they had rushers on both sides, and you were able to kind of survive that just because of, what you saw with Dak Prescott. Can Dak Prescott avoid pressure? Arizona got him with the quick pressure. This Raiders team is one of the lowest in the league when it comes to quick pressures. You could see it. You could watch their tape. It is really about Maxx Crosby. It is really about some of their defensive tackles. Voch is absolutely right about the secondary. I think that when you look at them, Isaiah Pola-Mao, the safety, this team plays a ton of base. There's nobody in the league that plays more base defense than these guys. And so they're not going to get a nickel situation. So what happens to them is that they have to put Jeremy Chin in coverage, and all of a sudden he's the nickel, or Darnay Holmes is the nickel, or I think that Caillou Blue Kelly, I think he's the best of the corners. He wears number 36. I'm thinking that maybe you could attack Chin, you could attack Stokes in this, just watching how they're playing, and I think you could attack the safety too, Pola-Mao. I think that those guys, all three, especially with as much base defense as they play, they're really relying on those guys to make plays back there. So I think that's the kind of way this team doesn't give up a lot of runs. I mean, they're when you look at the success rate against them running, their average rush is below 4 yards a carry here. And it's not that teams are throwing on them. It's just the fact that they play some pretty good run defense because they've got some guys. We mentioned the linebackers, with White, and then you mentioned the defensive tackles, and then and also Maxx Crosby. So they've got some guys that can play the front, but it's going to be, like I say, Dallas is going to have to put pressure on this Raider defense, if they're going to play you straight up with their base, you got to punish them with your skill guys. And Voch brought that up with Ferguson, with Pickens, and then also with Lamb.
You don't want to call this a easy day at the office. You want to keep from using language like that, because these boys are surprise the hell out you. I'm talking about the Cowboys, not the Raiders. The Raiders going to be bad, but with the Cowboys will shock the hell out you.
Yeah.
But with a healthy dose of CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, Jake Ferguson, I think you'll definitely be able to run the football too, Brian. I know that the Raiders, me and you kind of talked about it a little bit, like they're sneakily decent against the run.
Yeah. Sneakily.
But I think when this Cowboys offensive line is healthy, I think at the end of the day, you can push those guys off the football. Now, Maxx, is now Terrence Steele run blocking versus Maxx.
Right.
You feel a little more decent about that. I think Maxx really going to terrorize you in the passing game, because I don't feel great about Terrence pass blocking at all. But I do think this is going to be a game to where I want to see the Cowboys get back to the run, even if it's a decent running team. Go be imposing, because the Cowboys are supposed to be one of the best running teams in the whole league. You know what I'm saying? Don't get away from your identity and keep forming that thing. Yeah. Run the football, pound them, and honestly, bro, man, take them shots downfield. I don't want to see a whole bunch of control and check down type stuff. And the more that we get into, I would say, desperate team territory, I don't need to see the complementary group of wide receivers get involved all that much. I really want to see Pickens and Lamb take over, because in order for those guys to be great, I think you have to maximize targets for those guys. Right. So I need to see Lamb and Pickens around 8, 9, 10 targets if you want to, especially versus these DBs. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I think to me that's the whole idea of this thing, though, is you've got to find a way to minimize. Like, if you get into a thing where it turns into if it turns into a passing, and if Dallas has, they need balance here. Just don't get in a situation where all of a sudden you're throwing the ball and letting Maxx Crosby just tee off on your offensive lineman.
Yeah.
That's the thing you have to worry about the most, I think, is that you're in a situation right now where you're not very adequate, I think, at right tackle. And, that's the problem. You got one of the best in the league. We've seen with Micah Parsons. We've seen how he could affect games. We've seen, with what Denver did to you, affecting a game that way. So, yeah, this is one of those things where it's really going to be important that Shoddy shows some balance the way he does things.
Man, bro, that's really all I got on these people, man. I mean, they really cut and dry. They don't do a whole bunch of adjusting. You know what I mean? They blitz a little bit, but, man, Cowboys really good at that. I just think this is on Dallas. You know what I'm saying? If Dallas shows up, take care of business, I think everything will be good to go. They had an extra week and an extra day because they're playing on Monday to heal up a little bit. Man, I don't think there's going to be a too big of an issue. So hopefully we come back up here next Tuesday with a smile on our face getting ready for the Eagles, because I just didn't see a very inspired. I think the Raiders ready to quit, honestly, Brian.
Yeah.
I think I've seen some games where they kind of already looking that way or whatever, but I think just give them a reason. Give them a reason to just kind of quit this thing. They coming off a bye week too, I think.
No, yes, they are. The last game was against the Broncos in Denver.
Brian, this is a perfect opportunity to make a team just roll over and just get on out of there.
Sure.
And the Cowboys absolutely got to have this game. Now, Brian, when you pick your winners moving forward, and you ain't got to pick a winner today because we don't quite do that here, but when you pick your winner moving forward, I just kind of want to talk about the idea that Dallas got to be desperate the entire way.
Oh, yeah.
Ain't really any – if the Cowboys want to, go draft or something like that, go out there and do your thing. But I assume that they still want to make runs and go do postseason things, so that would make them a desperate team every week, right?
Every week, yeah, every week. They're the failure is not an option here.
Sure,
not an option. And people say, well, they got to find a way to get to 9 or 10 wins. You thought that when the season even started, you were going to have to get to probably 10, 11 wins to even think about getting in the playoffs. I think the division, I don't see Philadelphia. Philadelphia, to me, I watched them play. How many games has Philadelphia won this year where all of a sudden somebody's driving for a game-winning points, they get a fumble, they get an interception, they get a blocked field goal. I mean, that seems to be very much like a team they've got the football gods on their side. You've had some bad losses. Let's be honest. Carolina, I know, is 5-5, but at the time, bad loss. The Arizona game, bad loss. The Chicago game, them coming off, Chicago being down, hadn't won a game, early in the season, bad loss right there. So you've had your share of bad losses. You're going to need to find some of these wins now. And if you're going to want to be serious about even trying to get back in this thing, you got to find a way to go win at the Raiders, and then you got to find a way to play really good football against Philadelphia, and then play really good football against Kansas City, and see what happens from there. But right now you are in a very much a desperate situation.
That being said, I hope the Cowboys go out there, be desperate, whoop some feet, and get a win so that me and Brian can continue to talk Cowboy football. Because if not, boy, it's some draft content on deck for y'all. But hey, it is what it is. We appreciate y'all for tapping in with us, man. We love y'all to pieces, man. Not just here, but following us on all these different platforms, man. Appreciate y'all. We are so grateful. Crown Global Media is where all the work is at. All right, the audio, the merch. Everything. Brian got some merch, man. Brian got 2 pieces of merch.
You have the hat on, yep.
Check out your boy, man. Check out the merch. Check out the audio. Some of my work is up there. CrownGlobalMedia.com. Everything that you're looking for, it's all there. That's Bryan Broaddus. I'm VOCHLONBARDI. We'll catch y'all next time. Questions. Put your question in the thing, and I'll go get it. All right? Crown.